YouTube, and welcome to this video. So, yes, given the recent release of Thor Ragnarok that has marked its 17th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I thought, I've seen a few people do this already, rank all their Marvel films up in the MCU and also their opinions. So I thought, I'll get involved and I'll do my top 17 movies in the MCU. So yeah, so this is my top 10 Marvel movies in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, before we get started, all this is just my opinion. It's mine alone, and none of you have to agree with it. So when you've seen my top 17, and you don't agree with it, well, let me know down in the comments below what you think to it. So without any further delay, let's go. So, kicking us off at 17, it is Iron Man 2. This one, I felt like it was a sequel, alright, but it just wasn't. It felt like it was just a sequel made for, Tony Stark. I thought, like the others have said on this one, many others, the villains are a little underdeveloped. Mickey Rourke, he's alright, but I don't think this role was made for him. It gave us War Machine, which was good, but other than that, I just didn't really see this film. I mean, this one, it's not the best in the Iron Man trilogy, but, it's watchable. Next, at number 16, we got Thor, The Dark World. So, Thor, The Dark World, this one, I was looking forward to this, but to be honest, I found it a little boring, like a lot of everyone else has said. To me, this is my least favourite Thor film. It had Christopher Eccleston in it as a dark elf, and yeah, I just didn't think much to his character. I thought it's quite forgettable. I can't even remember his name, that's how forgettable he is. So yeah, Thor the Dark World's definitely not the best one in there. At number 15, we got Iron Man 3. Now, yeah, this is a good sequel again. It's a lot better than Iron Man 2, but I felt like this was all focused on Tony Stark's PTSD on the Battle of New York. I just hated the twist they did with the Mandarin. I was expecting Ben Kingsley to be the Mandarin, and they completely flipped it around and stuff, and it wasn't a good twist at all. I didn't like it. So Iron Man 3, yeah, I mean, it was also like set around Christmas. I mean, no wrong with that, but I mean, a film set around Christmas out in the summertime, yeah. This was also the first film of Phase 2 of the MCU. At number 14, we have The Incredible Hulk. Now, I loved this one when it first came out. I thought it was way better than the 2003 film, and I even have my Hulk shirt on now. I thought this was way better than the 2003 film Hulk. My god, that is the worst one ever. I hated that one. But this 2008 reboot really made up for it. It did one of the best things they could ever do for a well-known superhero with a well-known backstory. They just had the whole backstory in the opening scene. They skipped it and that because we already had the idea of what he was. Ed Norton, I thought he was a good Bruce Banner, but I have to say I like Mark Ruffalo more now. He's definitely better than Norton, and to be honest, I wish they could have done this film with Ruffalo, and they could even do a sequel, or at least give Mark Ruffalo his own solo Hulk movie. Come on! Number 13 is Thor, the fourth film. Is it in the MCU? The fourth film in the MCU. Now, I think for a cinematic universe takeoff, it takes the fourth installment. And for me, it was Thor, because I did enjoy this one. But after watching it so many times and looking at it now, I thought, Thor, the first part of it was good, him as a god and everything, then cast down to earth. But other than that, nothing else really happens in the middle act of the film. In that, but still, it's a solid film, and I do find it watchable. Okay, coming in at number 12 is Iron Man, the first film that kicked off the MCU. Now, when I saw this, I was absolutely amazed by it. I thought this was great. I'd never thought it'd become part of a big universe. I never thought it'd extend into a universe. I just thought this was like the typical Marvel films that were made before it, Iron Man, Spider-Man trilogy, X-Men, what have you. But no, I actually like this one, and I like how Tony Stark appeared at the end of The Incredible Hulk, letting us know that the Hulk and Iron Man are in the same universe, and then of course it evolving into what it is now. Number 11 is Captain America, the First Avenger. Now when I saw this one, I fell in love with it. In fact, at this point I went out and bought all the Marvel MCU films before the Avengers, and I thought, Chris Evans, I think he's already been the Human Torch, but I think this was role was way better. He was Captain America. He was entertaining. He kicked ass. He kicked the Red Skull's butt. I feel like Red Skull was underused, and I really would have liked to see more of him. But yeah, he got destroyed at the end, and that was that. But I thought Hugo Weaving did a great Red Skull. Okay. Top 10 now. So, what do we have at number 10? Coming in at number 10, we have Avengers Age of Ultron, the second film in the series of the Avengers. This one, it was good. I thought at first when I saw it, it was way, way better than the first Avengers film. Ultron was a good villain, and I also liked how it introduced the Vision, but for me, the Hulk wasn't as funny this second time round. There was like a romance between him and Black Widow. There was like, Jeremy Renner's character Hawkeye having a family, what have you. The middle part of the film was a little flat. And then we had the big action-packed finale, where it's like, just a chaotic, mad, action-packed finale, and that for me there was too much going on in that finale. Even though I enjoyed it, I enjoyed the middle credit scene with Thanos, but I was completely disappointed that there was no after credit scene in this one, because they all should have one. The Incredible Hulk, I get it because that was the second attempt they had, but yes, I really wish they could have had an after credit scene like they did in the first one. Even if it was nothing really worth waiting for, I still wanted to wait for it. Number 9 is Captain America the Winter Soldier, the second installment in the Captain America trilogy. Steve Rogers, Chris Evans returns as Steve Rogers, Captain America, this time in the present day after being asleep for 70 years. We also get introduced to Vulcan in this one. Falcon. Played by Anthony Mackie. He was a great support lead in this. And I thought this was way better than the first Captain America, but not as good as the Avengers. But either way, it deserves a place in my top 10 MCU movies. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Loved Bucky in it too, as he turned out to be how he survived and everything for all those years, and how he became the Winter Soldier with the big robo arm. So that's that one. So Captain America's the Winter Soldier. Coming in at number 8 is Doctor Strange, with Benedict Cumberbatch playing an arrogant, up his own arse surgeon with steady hands. Till he has that car accident and realises how precious life is when he can't use his hands anymore and has a big tantrum, till he discovers that he can use magic. I also like Tilda Swinton in this film. She was a baldy, and I like to just get ahead and give it a nice pat there. And this also gave us interdimensions and that. See, I didn't know much about Doctor Strange, all that I knew from Doctor Strange was that I'd seen him as a secondary character in Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk animated series. But yeah, I like Benedict Cumberbatch in this. His co-Sherlock friend was in Captain America: Civil War, Martin Freeman, and then yeah, it makes sense that only Sherlock joins. So yeah, that's number 8, Doctor Strange. Coming in at number 7, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Now, I thought this was okay. It was a good sequel, but the soundtrack wasn't fully there. I did like the original track, however, Guardians Inferno. I also like Baby Groot in this. Him and Rocket just brought the comedy to it. Yondu, for me, I didn't really like him much in the first film, but the second film, he really became a great character, and it was sad that he died at the end. But yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed this one. You know, I watched it with my parents, and they loved it too. And they weren't keen on the soundtrack like I was, but still, it was a great film, and we had Kurt Russell in it. Number 6 is Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, I like the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. I like The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, but I hated The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But when best thing Sony ever did was give the rights to Marvel, and they completely recreated him. You know, for me, Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War, and that he came back a year later. Yeah, he did great in this one as Spider-Man. Also, Aunt May. As Peter Parker gets younger looking, Aunt May gets hotter, because I thought she was, yes. Also, I like Michael Keaton as Vulture in this, and we also got to see a few more of the villains that were in their pre-days. Also, I like the whole new spin they did on MJ, Mary Jane Watson. Well, she wasn't called Mary Jane in this, but she still had that initial name, MJ. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Also, Iron Man was like his mentor in it. As much as I didn't find most of his scenes in it necessary, I still liked it. It kind of reminded me of the 90s animated series where War Machine crossed over with Spider-Man and that. So, number 5, top 5 time now, and at number 5 it is Captain America: Civil War. Now, this film was basically like the Avengers 3.5. It had all the Avengers in except for Hulk and Thor. So, yeah. Also, Captain America and Iron Man, they both had a falling out like Robbie and Gary did in Take That. And that's what I thought of it as. But yeah, we find a lot more stuff out about how Tony's parents, came out of the MCU, why they weren't in it after. We find out what happens to his parents. This is an Iron Man film just as much as a Captain America film. I loved Black Panther in this, and I am looking forward to seeing the new standalone film from him in the spring. I think that's when it's out. But yeah, Captain America, Iron Man, they did great in this. It was a great action adventure, and everyone also has to love the whole airport scene and that. And also, I liked in Spider-Man: Homecoming how we saw all that scene from his point of view and that. Okay, only 4 more, and coming in at number 4 is Ant-Man. Now, when I saw Paul Rudd get cast for this role, I never took him seriously before as an actor, but you know what he did? He actually pulled it off great. I loved Evangeline Lilly as this. She was fine. We also had Michael Douglas in this, who I thought was a great character. We had a giant Thomas the Tank Engine scene. We had ants with Ant-Man, because he's called Ant-Man after all. I liked the whole shrinky suit thing, and I liked his suit as well. I also liked the cameo with Vulcan in and stuff. Paul Rudd really, got into shape for this, because before I remember him seeing him with a beer belly and that in This Is 40. But, this one, he actually did great on this. Okay, only 3 more left. And coming and finishing at 3rd place, we have Avengers Assemble. Now, I was so anticipating this film, and it did not, it didn't fail me at all. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved Hulk. Best decision they could have ever made for the Hulk was getting Mark Ruffalo, because for me that is the best Hulk since Lou Ferrigno played him, and yeah, for me he stole the show, and he was funny. I loved the whole action in it. I loved the whole fights. It's a brilliant film, and it's, what else can you ask for? I love the Avengers Assemble. Okay, so number 2 it is Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this was a great film. My mum and dad, they loved it. They loved the soundtrack. I too loved the soundtrack. It's such a great, entertaining film full of action. It showed us extended parts of the MCU, the whole universe, the whole, everything. It was just a brilliant film, brilliant action. It had like Infinity Stones in it. We saw more of Thanos in it, even though it was a brief scene. Played by Josh Brolin. Karen Gillan did a great job in this too. I liked her character Nebula. She even shaved her head for this role, so that's how committed she was. I still loved the whole casting though. Groot, Rocket, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax and all that. Yeah, this was so enjoyable for me. And number 1, yes, it's most recent, but hey, I've seen this already like 4 times. Yeah, 4 times in a week, because I loved it that much. Don't ask how I did it, I just did, and I still love it now, and that is Thor Ragnarok, number 1. For me, Hulk stole the show. As much as it took about 40 minutes to see Hulk, when he came into it, I was loving it. I only ever wanted to see this one for the Hulk, but I didn't. I got more than I bargained for, because not only did Thor and Loki do good, do good in this. I loved Kate Blanchett as Hela. She was beautiful as hell in this, no pun intended. I loved Hulk and Thor's like comedic banter between each other and their humour and stuff. Yeah, it took a while for me to warm up to Thor as one of the Avengers, but after Ragnarok and Hulk being his supporting lead in this, I'm a huge fan now. So yes, number 1 is Thor Ragnarok. And that has been my top 17 movies in the MCU. Now, this has all been my opinion. None of you have to agree with it. If you have a different opinion, then please let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to hit that notification bell. And all my social media links, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they're all linked down below. And I now have a new Facebook group. Yes, that's right, a Facebook group. Called Merch and Movies and TV Shows. So, if you like any of those, then feel free to join. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, I bid you all a bye friends, goodbye.